Look up to the stars. High up in the sky. Look up to the stars. High up in the sky. Nothing but the fading light.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to one of the last regular season games here for North American ESL Challenger League Season 46. It's Boggs and Laz with you again. And folks, we're wrapping up the season. That means teams are on the outside looking in, teams looking to secure their seeding in the playoffs. And Laz, it means there's going to be some fireworks as we near the tail end.
No, definitely. And I mean, this is the big matchup here tonight. I think for people that are kind of wondering what's going on, we are doing M80 taking on Rocket. So this is kind of the big question is, does M80 go undefeated or does M80 get a loss here to get themselves into playoffs? So a lot of pressure for Rocket, but we'll go a little bit deeper into that. But I mean, we'll have the brackets up here in a bit and kind of the standings and everything. But again, that's kind of the big thing for me is the fact that M80 haven't taken a loss. They've only gone the distance one time this whole season.
Yeah, they've been fantastic, and no surprise how well they've been able to perform. But why don't we take a peek at the format first? It is a different playoff format since we are now moving everything over, changing things up. Well, this is how it works now. It is a 10-team playoff with 10 through 7 in a lower bracket round. 6 through 1 are in upper brackets, but first and second go into the upper bracket round of 4. So those top 2 seeds give you a much easier way through the playoffs. If you're anywhere 7 to 10, it's going to be a very tough round to get through everything, and I do not envy any of those teams and their chances.
No, definitely. And the good thing that you brought up too, just because again, there's a lot of information here that you can see on the screen. But again, it's really important because the first and second placements are such a big thing now. Like you really do get a big benefit now out of this new format. So I actually really like this. Whereas now, like you said, kind of being in that, 7th, 8th, 9th, and so on, it's going to be a harder road for you. And it makes it, pretty difficult to get yourself through in this playoffs. So this is now where M80 have definitely secured themselves in the top contention here for the whole division. So they're sitting pretty, but again, it's all about, can they get themselves the old 13-0, I guess.
Yeah, if they can go undefeated. And speaking of, why don't we look at those groups a little more in detail? M80 12-0 at the top of the table. Boss just behind them. We got to see Boss last night. They had a 12-1 finish to the season. Unjustified at 10-3 are also playing right now against Mythic. EG 10-4, Nouns 10-5, forfeiting the rest of their season to focus on the EU boot camp and not playing games from across the pond when they have ESL Challenger Yunzhou Ping to look forward to. Party Astronauts looking like they're going to be a solid team for 5th. But then things really open up towards the back end of it with Rocket on the outside looking in. It's a pretty tough road for them to make it to playoffs, though.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, even if they find themselves with a win here tonight, I mean, it puts them at that record for 6-9, and again, not a great placement, right? I mean, you have Mythic kind of sitting already at that 6-8, and things could change around a little bit here too, depending on if they win or lose. But it's not a great position, and like we said, I mean, M80, they are sitting on the top of the throne right now. They're pretty much neck and neck in terms of Boss. And the funny thing, and we talked about this a lot yesterday, was Boss have gone the full distance against M80, so they've been a team that we put a lot of emphasis on, and our eyes kind of really overlooking them too. But now M80 have kind of set this, precedence in the way that they've become like a big powerhouse in the whole division. So they have a lot riding on them, but we'll have to see if that pressure could maybe kick in tonight. Who knows? That's the thing. But again, the vetoes are going to be the most important factor as well.
Yeah, now why don't we look at these two teams in a little more detail too. There is a roster change for Rocket as well. They're playing with a stand-in for this one. And Laz, there was also an earlier game today in ESL Challenger League North America. That was Rocket and Fluffy Aimers. I know you had some things you wanted to say about that one. Do you want me to spoil the score, or do you want to go everything?
Yeah, you do it, man. It's okay.
Well,
you take the wheel, and I'll jump in. It's okay.
It was a 2-0 for Fluffy Aimers, and that is the team, as you see there, at 7-7 on the standings. 500 record. Not great, not bad. They'll make playoffs, but will they actually make a deep run? I wouldn't expect them to be one of those teams you could even expect to have a dark horse style of run, Les. But for Rocket to lose 0-2 to them, one, mental blow. Two games in pretty quick succession. How's that going to tackle the mental?
No, well, exactly, right? And that's the thing too. And just, there's a couple things to take into this as well. As the fact they just finished their game. So the biggest question is, are they going to be hot, or are they going to be really cold or worn out from this, right? The other thing is too, like when we know their map pool, it makes me wonder if M80 were able to kind of, watch while they were waiting to just get a little bit of glimpses of what they got to see. So now they know some tendencies from a recent match. There isn't any time here for Rocket to make any sort of a difference in their game plan. So there's a lot against Rocket right now if I was, looking at this game. But again, it doesn't take it to be necessarily it's an M80 victory, but it definitely puts a lot of cards against Rocket right now with all things considered, and then taking that 2-0 loss in such a, big fashion with a 13-10 on the first map and then a 19-17 that went all the way to a distance on the second. So it drains you.
Oh, yeah, it definitely does, and I don't know how Rocket are going to be able to weather the storm. It's not like they get an easier matchup here in their second game of the day either, quite the contrary. But let's get into the vetoes now, because that sets the stage for the entire matchup, and we should be starting it pretty quickly, too. We'll have those popping up, and it starts with a ban from Rocket. They get rid of Inferno, M80 ban Mirage, and I think if you're M80, Mirage as your ban is one of the better things you could do, considering they are a heavy favorite in this series.
Yeah, and this is actually really interesting again that, Rocket, they go for the pick of Ancient. And like, just again, going back to my previous note about them playing, a Fluffy Aimers, they just played Ancient and they actually lost that 13-10. So that's what's now going to make me wonder if M80 at all got to see something while they were waiting around, waiting for their match. And now they can take things away and go, okay, this is what they just did. Let's counter it. I mean, this is, proper scouting and proper, observation as a team. I don't know if that's what they did, but I mean, if I'm M80, would have taken full advantage of it. And I mean, this is a strong map for M80 as well on paper. I mean, this isn't going to be something that's a big, heavy favor for Rocket.
I mean, two of their major losses, Mouse and 00 Nation. So that's really good competition to lose to in general. And they have wins over Nexus and Anonymous to contrast that with the European competition. 2 wins over Evil Geniuses as well. A 9-4 record in CS2 with a very stalwart defense. The T side a little bit lacking for M80, but they're usually able to overcome those deficits once it starts on the defensive side. Although they should be starting on the CT side, given the fact it's the pick of Rocket. But moving into map number 2, it is Vertigo picked by M80, a 9-game win streak on the map, Laz. And that is not going to be easy for anyone to overcome. And 2 of those losses on Vertigo for M80 so long ago now, Mouse and Complexity, who just 2-0'd Astralis.
Oh man, and this is the thing. Like I feel like when you have a team that's kind of going on the big win streak on a map, that's even more terrifying because they have the right rhythm. They're doing really well. They're feeling really good. They obviously have a good foundation on this. So I think, again, a lot is riding right now for the fact that Ancient has to go the way for Rocket. On paper, unless we get some crazy, another night here, what we saw yesterday in our previous matches. But there is going to be so much riding on right now for Rocket to pull something through in the swampy waters of Ancient.
Oh yeah, and then leaving it up to either Anubis or Overpass, Rocket removing Nuke. Overpass is an 0-2 record for Rocket. And, well, it's 3-3 for M80, but that means their losses. Complexity again in Sampi, another European team. Wins over Party Astronauts, the current wildcard roster, and Nexus. I think that's a pretty darn good record. M80 have the favoritism as far as roster is concerned, with guys like Slacks and Swisher and Rek and Malbs. And then they have Manx too, who's proven himself to be a pretty decent fragging IGL in CS2. Versus, I guess you have Droid over on Rocket and Nero, but it's not the same caliber of player. Nobody on Rocket has anywhere near the pedigree of the M80 players. Now the European experience, not just the European players coming over, but we are going to hop into this one here pretty quickly, I do believe, Laz, and here we go. We can put away the possibilities and get into the actuality. M80 versus Rocket here, with M80 on that CT side as predicted. Dual Berettas, perhaps? Maybe just one? I think they're going to have 2, because Makes doesn't have any guns. No. He drops the smoke and a flashover instead, so just 1 pair of dualies on Swish. And not much utility over on Rocket either, just that smoke, 2 flashes, and the fast speed play. Met by perhaps those dualies. There they are. 1 kill, Malbs is there, and, well, that's about as easy of a round as you can get for M80.
Yeah, a bit of a blender, I guess, if you want to call it that. And now Swisher just getting more aggressive. He's even got the Glock. A little insult to injury, but a flawless round. I mean, the only damage that came through was 6 damage from Rocket, and that was against Swisher in that last engagement. So that was just a butchering that comes in. I mean, I like that Rocket tried to be a little bit fast, get in their face, being a little bit aggressive, but again, they're going to have to really dig deep on this, because again, this is a map that they like, but like you said, this is M80 on a map where they played so much different competition. This puts them definitely a couple chapters ahead.
Oh yeah, and M80 were more than ready for that fast push too. Slacks and Malbs doing all the damage with Swisher just spraying away with the dual Berettas, finally getting his. Malbs will already open up this second round with a kill. Swisher on the MP9 adds another, and so far, 0 damage has been taken by M80 yet again. Manx has boosted up. This is going to be free, and he will be the first guy to actually take any damage from the Rocket players. And, well, it's all up to Heaven now, and I don't think Heaven's going to go anywhere but to the heavens. There's not really much of an opportunity to get anything here. Maybe the low HP Manx, but Slacks is here to support. And Slacks won't miss that one. Freebie headshot and 2-0 start, double flawlesses.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, I mean, again, the most recent addition of Slacks coming in, and he's, done pretty well for himself. He is actually sitting, like, overall ratings. Take a few things out, I mean, but he is sitting at a 1.22, so right behind him is Malbs, and I mean, this is something where, any OG fans or people that have been around for a long time, like we all know how lethal Mulbs can be too. So the fact that we're starting to see him, feeling a lot more comfortable on this team and actually fragging out, like I feel like it's been everything we have all wanted here in NA. So that's what makes this even more scary too. There's so much firepower and really just picking things around. And the same thing for Swisher, a player that we were always waiting for that, that right team to be able to find something. But maybe we'll see something a little bit different from Rocket. A full investment into this one. The Leals, a little bit of a desperation buy coming in and trying to fight for some cave control. And they actually do take out Mulbs.
Yeah, I think Mulbs is pushing down mid. That's a good nade on the Slacks, too. He's going to have to back away from the mid fight. Swisher finally grabs one up on Snake. It's R2-D2 to get shut down. And Slacks will aggress behind this smoke. Will it be red, though? I don't think so. They're actually evacuating the lower mid portion of the map. Heaven just holding out on Snake for any potential Snake pushes, cave pushes, or even that bottom mid play from somebody like Slacks out in middle. There's going to be 3 down mid for M80. They're going for a full-on flank play on this site.
Oh my gosh.
And Swisher is just going to run distraction here with 30 HP, 1 flashbang to buy time. But how long Rocket is taking is letting M80 get into position. That's a nice little headshot from Heaven, though. That might just spiral things out and into the favor of Rocket. The low HP. Aleph will get mowed down, though. Best case scenario for Swisher on that contact. And now 33 seconds to go. Time is dwindling. They have to get the bomb down. Swisher's making noise. He's already used his flashbang. He spots out one, but Slacks has his back. Now it's all collapsing for Rocket. They can't even get the bomb down here, and Swisher gets 2.
There's just no way that Swisher's getting away with that kind of position and winning those duels with that gun too. And now he's able to upgrade to an AK with the MP9 before. Oh man, this is becoming just the dagger coming in deeper and deeper right now. And Rocket, they, like you said, they can't even find the bomb plants, so the money, it can't really get bigger. So now they just have to force up some pistols and kind of work around this. But you can already see M80, they're feeling really comfortable in this map. Like before, they were going for the mid flank. They're really just treading in different waters right now to really catch Rocket off guard, and they're doing a good job.
They're doing a real good job here. And now, Mulb's in a dangerous position again out middle, but he might just get lucky here. Aleph's biding time as the smoke runs in, and Slacks is ready for it as Mulbs drops R2. More utility being used down in towards that little A mid entrance. And they're just going to back away here, Laz. Just a little bit of chip damage onto these 2 mid players. That's all they have to speak of. And the aggression from M80 now is really, really early. But the way they've been winning these rounds is incredibly confident and rather suffocating. So I don't blame them one bit for getting into this kind of confident position.
No, I like the repositioning on this too. And like you said, I think that M80 put some good control of mid, and now Rocket are trying to go for a different, option. They don't have any utility to work with, and there we go. Pistols could be an answer. Nice little bit of a headshot coming in from Miro, but now Swisher just needs to be able to come up with 2, and he does. And he's sitting himself in an 8-0. Slacks actually behind with a 4-0, and again, only 1 death coming in from Manx and Mulbs. So this has been pretty ruthless right now from M80. Guns are finally going to come out once again. A full buy now. AKs across the board. Full amount of utility, but Rocket are going to need to, again, find something in this situation to get themselves back and remove this goose egg, because I think once they can do that, that stress, that little bit of relief can, allow them to get a bit more comfortable.
Yeah, Mulbs again just charging down mid, showing that comfort factor here, lads. He's looking for more victims to pop on through that smoke. Swisher making cave his home. There's Aleph trying to peek through a smoke, take a little bit of an off angle. Mulbs will re-smoke. Aleph has to know. Timing! Mulbs will at least get one on Snake, flips around. Aleph is...
Oh
what?
My goodness!
What? He didn't even shoot!
That's such a read. He's on the gear, boys. No, I'm just kidding, but that was absolutely insane. Just a bit of a free fire. And the fact that he wins that, I cannot believe it. And look at the positioning now from these guys. I mean, even has a good position. Can he be able to find 2? He won't be able to. So now just leaving it down to 1 player on a 1-on-3. And Mulbs is already jiggling. He's got this information. And M80, man, they can just pounce on this if they want to, or they can play more disciplined. Mulbs kind of toying with him a little bit. You love to see this, but now there's so much work cut out for this player to be able to find something. He's got 45 seconds, though. and does have the molly with the bomb, so a little bit of a bright note. Oh, you need your gun out, though. That is something you need. Mulbs should be able to escape this with the boost onto the box. Where does he go, though, Boggs? I mean, this is...
Where can he go?
I mean, this is the thing. You can't cross mid. You have your slacks locked in with the op. You can't go all the way around. You have no time. Yeah, this isn't good.
Is Troy just gonna have to save here? I think so.
I think he's gonna have to. I think he realizes he doesn't have time in Mulbs now. He's just gonna go for the swing because he knows he can win these engagements, and he just gets the running shot. Why not? Oh man, the confidence is just built here, Boggs. This is a scary M80 right now.
It's a scary M80 hot with confidence after disqualifying for ESL Challenger Atlanta last week. And M80 got gradually better and better over the course of that tournament. They didn't have really any practice time with Slacks at that time. It was just, all right, here's your new teammate, guys. Good luck, have fun. And, well, Slacks more than fit the bill, and now you get the Riflers really settling in here, taking full advantage of the situation where they can just go for some aggressive peaks like that. Every once in a while, you are going to get burned. But now Slacks on his off. He does not miss, Laz, and that's something we will find out more and more about him as time goes on in this series, just how good he is aggressively opping in CS2 in particular. Switcher with another pair of kills. Manx holding down the site as the in-game leader with a nice little headshot on the droid. And Heaven, again, in the 1vx, no bomb, no chance, no life, and dead. 6-0 M80. And, well, minute 18 on the clock. These rounds have been fast and the furious and all favoring M80.
Yeah, it's a 6-0 that's favoring M80, that's for sure. I know I was kind of like, I don't know what to say to that right now because, again, like, when we talk about Rocket, this was their pick. A team that, is 4-6 on it. Again, some mixed results. They just recently, like I said earlier, for anybody that was here for the pre-show, they had their recent game against Fluffy Gamers. They did lose that 13-10. They've beaten a team like Reason before, but again, really mixed results. So, but we're seeing for a team like M80, it's just pretty much the other flip of the coin here because they're just so dominant on it. We're starting to see it, and they're winning engagements. The first engagements. I feel like this first one from Nero has been kind of one of the first we've seen in a long time.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's Mulbs taking a man advantage again for his side. Look how crispy Slacks is on the flicks there. Catches the backside of Aleph. There's just not much Heaven and Droid can do. No utility either to gain some space, and they're backing away from the site. They just look shell-shocked, Les. I mean, what can you do? Anywhere you go, you die. You have no money, no utility, and they don't exactly have the deepest smoke lineup from what we've seen either. So, dry fights, any fights really against M80 are just not going to favor you.
No, they're definitely not. And even Mulb's getting some good information. He definitely sees the one player, but again, with only 2 remaining here from Rocket, the intel should be that both of them should be close together. But now, actually, I mean, Droid is kind of creeping his way through mid-house. Now his teammate's finally going to join him. So they're going right through the middle of the map. But it's going to be, again, if they decide to come towards this B site, they have to go against the oppa Slacks. But if they decide to go through CT spawn towards A, I mean, you're still facing with Rec. As well, having, Mulb's kind of lingering a little bit here. And he's in A main, so this is running into a bit of a trap. And you can already see it. Rec, you should be able to see this shadow. Mulbs gets the first engagement. And yeah, they're dead. And I mean, the one thing, Boggs, that I talked about, but again, I think just, again, a bit more focus on it is the fact that they just played this Rocket. Again, there's like the mental fatigue, the overthinking, the loss of the map where it's like, predominantly one of your best maps. That's a tough thing to go into a whole other series as well.
It really is. And there's not really a map where Rocket can actually pick in with confidence. They have 0 winning records. 50% win rates on Inferno and Mirage are their best. And there's not really a mathematical advantage of any kind with Rocket. There's not a statistical advantage of any kind. And somehow, some way, M80 just keep obliterating on every bit of contact For crying out loud, Rocket as a team have 8 kills through 8 rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, soon Manx and Slacks are going to be caught up maybe too, right? Like that's the thing. They just can't seem to win these duels at all. Yeah, prime example. Swisher, peek, Swisher, kill.
I mean, I don't even know if Manx is actually calling any strats right now.
I feel like at this point, probably not, because again, they're just playing their normal game. Very, defaultish and static. And not really doing anything crazy, right? I don't feel like we've really seen anything like outside, of a normality. Like I think the one cool thing we saw was them pushing mid together, but that's just basic comms and some teamwork, right? So yeah, this is kind of maybe a moment right now where they're feeling really good. They've already secured the half. I mean, it's an 8-0 for crying out loud.
It's an 8-0 and it doesn't show signs of stopping.
It does not. I mean, this... Again, I'm kind of surprised we really haven't seen a timeout coming in from Rocket. I thought they would have called it maybe like 2 or 3 rounds ago. Maybe even this round being the gun round with their limited resources. But they're going to stay true to it. And, oh, man, that nade. Just look at that. 45 damage gone.
And Heaven takes him 2. Wreck removes R2-D2. And, well... The off from Slacks is still here as well. There's more utility to be chucked in from both sides, but the nades from Rocket not even halfway equating to what one did from M80. Better utility placement in Reed from CT side. Timing goes for Mobs, and he will spray down a pair. 2 more back down outside B main. The bomb at the feet of Swisher as he pushes through Cave. Mobs was removed on that 2 for 1, but that's more than enough for M80 to take advantage of. Swisher, he's...
What?
I think you can see the feet through the
okay
because he didn't even like, I think you can see the legs through the tarp. That's why he's watching that angle.
I didn't know it was from that angle you could see it too. I knew like a bit more right. You can definitely see it, but I was thinking, I'm like, the fact that he shot 1 bullet and landed it, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
all right.
He knew.
And that, honestly, like that's not obviously a shadow, but I think the other thing that's been so interesting now that we've been in CS2 for quite some time is obviously the shadows have, really played a big difference in quite a few maps too, right? So I think we got to see that, A main, remember the old A main? It was just brutal. You could just see it for a mile.
Dude, the shadows in Temple are weird too.
Oh, yeah. It's a mind freak.
Especially behind that spotlight.
Yeah. Well, Bugs, a new strategy. Talk about smokes. Uh-oh.
And Manx ain't gonna get flamed out either. He's safe. Flashes are gonna go through. Slacks lands another lineup from Manx. He'll spray down. Little messy up next, but you might even get a 3-piece. Never mind. Aleph will shut him down, but that just... Oh, wow! There we go. Okay. Rocket are over 1 kill a round as a team right now. They're at 1.1 kills per round.
Yeah, no, that was actually one of the few rounds I feel like we saw where there was a bit of an execute, nades getting thrown, a good setup and everything. Again, it was just right down to the execution, though, is getting those players in positions to go for the duels. And that's what really, again, got pulled underneath from them. They just couldn't seem to find any way to take down Slacks. And then the player playing on single box was able to get multi-kills. Like, they just could not be able to get any sort of a trade.
And I feel like they had to find a way to get around the off of Slacks first and foremost, and the fact that the off just gets that shotgun kill early, it's not going to go well after that. Well, comes through fire, uses he made contact with. Swisher loses half of his, but he's able to pick up 1, might even get more. Molotov thrown from his teammate down mid. That's Manx's in-game leader, who's making contact with Aleph, who actually wins that duel. Rex supporting Swisher, but first time in, I think, the entire game, Rocket have a man advantage here. Maybe going to get their first round on the board. Aleph spotted, and Slacks is quick with it on the shots. And now it's a B-side take from Rocket as M80 have full cave and snake control. Swisher clearing out very astutely as Rek goes back towards site. I don't even know if Rocket have had more than 1 bomb plant this entire game.
I don't think they have, actually. I'm glad you brought that stat up too, because I was thinking in my head, I'm like, I feel like there hasn't been a lot of bomb rounds.
He spotted both too.
Yeah, he's got full information. And again, these one-on-one peaks, And Rek just repositioning himself. Takes down Dro. No, just kidding. I thought he had him dead rights, but big kill right now. And a 1v2, one of the closest rounds we've seen from Rocket. And in a position where he could go for these one-on-one fights. Full bullets in the chamber, AK in hand. He's got a good read on this, and Swisher's low, but he has to be able to get this kill. Not to take any damage. That's a good start. Now it's down to a 1v1.
But he's 28 HP and Slacks is here. He's playing this so wisely, just buying time. Now he knows he has to commit. Oh, the Molly. The Molly's going to force him out. Burned and roast. Slacks with a barbecue kill. And M80 with an 11th on the board. He'll grab the AK because he's got max money, lads. So he'll just go drop that over to one of his teammates to rebuy his op. And no sweat for Slacks in that one. M80 looking for a flawless half. And keep this in mind, all you watching at home. This is the map pick of Rocket.
Big pick from Rocket, yeah. And again, we talked a lot about it for M80. But I mean, they really do have a good, agenda on this and, good history on this overall. So, again, one of their closer games was against Boss, not too long ago. Where it was a 13-9, but either way, they're showing that they got a pretty deep map pool. It's something right now, a tough pill for Rocket to swallow. But we'll have to see if they can scrape their way into one round to making this, the goose egg to be gone, maybe. I don't know.
Well, they either turn the goose egg into a breadstick, or it's GGWP.
Oh, no.
What a flank from Manx. He's got 2 on a plate, making a lineup. Hits the halftime break with a 12-0 scoreline in favor of M80.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Well, we're back, and M80 have definitely made a statement. It's 12-0, and no, there's no technical errors. And now Rocket, we're going to have to see if they're going to be able to bring things back to going to the distance. Laz and Boggs here to see what Rocket can do.
Oh, well, they're going to do something. Whether it's lose 13-0 or get around on the board here, it will be something. M80 are looking for pushes, though, and it doesn't look like Rocket are going to give those to them. They've given up complete control of mid, but it's a 4-stack towards A. Droid being that sort of alarm system for a B side take, and that's where M80 have stationed the bomb. But eventually they'll have to group up and go. Also, who had that CLG Twilight Galaxy Glock craft? That was pretty nice.
Yeah, it was pretty sick, actually. Let's look for it.
Was it Manx?
Yeah, it might have been.
Already with the NA Spirit. CLG's a team I've not seen in a long time. Brings me back to those old Cutler JDM days.
Mm-hmm. Tarek, too, yeah.
Yep.
Way, way back.
Mm-hmm. Remember Splice?
I never forget Splice. I feel like whenever I see the
Swish
logo,
with the Claraft.
Oh, okay. Well, still.
Okay, that
NA
makes
pride.
sense.
Way more NA
Yep.
pride, though.
Yeah.
And look at this. 30 seconds on the clock, so now, I mean, M80, they have lots of options. Look at the nades are just flying in. Molly for corner. Both corners not going to be smoked. This is good. Now Bomb's going to go in for free. And Rocket, they actually gambled with a full A stack because, I mean, they were expecting some kind of a push. So now we're talking about a 5v5 retake scenario with not a single kit.
And Glock's close corner. It's not going to be easy. The dualies are in. R2D2-1, but traded out by Slacks. Wreck from Cave will dome one more. Droid comes in, but there's Slacks to make noise and another kill. It's up to the Dane and the German. And Slacks on the fadeaway pops the head of Heaven. And Droid has to push down. Dualies flaring. Time is all but gone. I don't think he's got it. It's GG, Laz. 13-0. M80 win the final round by virtue of the clock, the lack of a kit for Rocket, and tick, tick, boom, there it goes. That is the first 13-0 I have casted in CS2, and I know it's yours as well, so,
Yeah.
well, there we go.
Yeah, that actually is the first 13-0 for me, and glad to hear it was for you too. But again, so much to take away here from M80. Again, they didn't really, change anything in the playbook. They didn't do anything crazy or innovative. They just played their game, and it was way too much for Rocket to handle. But that pistol round was, a little bit of life that we got to see from Rocket. It came really close. They just didn't have a kit. So if one player would have made that investment, it could have changed things all around. But either way, M80 will take that 13-0, and now they're going to push themselves over to the second map, which, yeah, it's going to be Vertigo. And that is their pick. And that is what's so terrifying right now.
Yeah, 9-game win streak for M80 on Vertigo, including some pretty big names, the likes of Party Astronauts, Boss, Evil Geniuses, falling victim twice for both EG and Party Astronauts. Can Rocket find something, anything, to counter M80? Or are we going to see one of the fastest CS2 games to date? Find out when we come back on the other side of this break.
Look up to the stars. High up in the sky. Look up to the stars. High up in the sky. Nothing but the fading light.
Well, map number 1 was a doozy, a 13-0 for M80 on the pick of Rocket, and now we go to a map which M80 have a 9-game win streak on. Boggs and Laz with you on the mic. Rocket on the CT side, dual Berettas for Droid, no kit for the CT side, Glocks for M80, Laz. They're running it in towards the B side. A stack is here, but the kills are going the way of M80. There's still 2 more players, and they're all dispatched. It's a 20-second round, and M80 continue their streak with 14 rounds won in a row.
Yeah. I was gonna say I was wondering if this was gonna be quick rounds again. We saw that on Ancient, and 20-second round, I guess, and that's gonna get the job done. A pistol easily secured here for M80, and again, this is a map where for a team like Rocket, they have 4 maps officially under this, sitting at a 1-3. Their only victory was a 13-4 against Unjustified, but they have never been able to find a victory ever since then. So they have a tall task. R2 is going to be gone with a big HE, landing right on him to dunk him out. And this is not the start you want for Rocket. And there's a full investment into this. MP9s galore, but they are not making a shot, not making a connection, except for one.
One kill is better than no kill. And, well, they've got 2 kills, which is better than 1 kill. Droid trying to make it 3 kills, but I believe M80 have also gotten rid of all those guns that were stuck there, which is a very smart move, because I think Droid's hunting for an upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Really good play, though. Yeah, I mean, Droid doesn't have a kit either, so, I mean, no matter what he does, if he's going to attempt this, if he's put in this position to be able to defuse him, he's going to have to make sure he finds these kills quickly. So Rex kind of waiting things out. He makes a spot. I think the noise cue definitely gave Rec the full read. So a bit of a, bit more reply coming in from Rocket, but again, money was spent, but they are kind of all sitting at that, 2,500 to 3,000 range. So not going to be probably a crazy investment, maybe. Well, hang on a sec. Never mind. They're spending dollars, Boggs. They're desperate for a round.
Dollar bills, y'all, and Rocket don't have much of that. They're still going in. Mag 7, Deagle's on 2. Droid is saving, so is Nero. It's a half-hearted investment with 2 players going in. Aleph with the Famas boosted up. Heaven boosting up the player, but is the only other player with a gun.
I think they heard this too.
Oh, they definitely heard that.
Yeah, look at Rec. He's purposely throwing nades and the mollies on top. That noise for the jump just gave a full read onto it, and look at that. Rec and Manx, they just... A wrecking ball, they come in. Nero, okay, a bit of a 2D, but that's fine. At least he's able to find something here, but still his presence is known. And oh man, these AKs. They're hitting every single target, and now Droid by himself with a USP. And a bit of a nightmare situation against 3 different players. Actually 4, just kidding. Manx sitting at 1 HP. Not something you want to be in if you're Droid.
Not at all. It's a pretty unwinnable situation. He's probably going to try and save. Glass Cannon AK has even less of a chance than a normal 1v4. And considering the lack of economy overall on Rocket, that AK is incredibly valuable. But there is a hunt on for him. Will they make it there in time, though? I don't think so. Mangs had to book it out of there, too, just to stay alive with 1 HP. He will survive. And a 3-0 start on map number 2 for M80. This is now 16 rounds in a row, Les.
It is. This is 16 rounds in a row. And I mean, this is what, again, I won't go too deep into it, but I know we talked about this in the pre-show. But again, like for a team like Rocket, I mean, this is just kind of kicking them while they're down a little bit here too. I mean, playing a BO3 earlier, going 0-2, now they're just having so much difficulty to be able to find any sort of rounds at all. And that's going to be, again, so much for them to really digest in this kind of a situation. It just really looks like they're maybe a little overextended right now. We'll have to see what they can do a little bit differently. They are trying to spend these dollars now on guns, like you said. They are winning, a couple of these engagements. They're actually getting some good damage inflicted. So now they have a man advantage. Slacks might be able to find this. He does. I was just waiting to see. I mean, the X-ray was a little deceiving for us, but he gets the job done again, sitting at a 3-0.
Wreck on low HP makes this an opportunity for Rocket to finally get their first on the board in this series, but is it a good chance? The way that Swisher's been playing, the way that Slacks has been playing, the way that Rex been playing, even in just this map alone. If you're Rocket, you're sweating. Sweating bullets, buckets profusely. Just aggressive from Nero. This could actually find something. Especially if it's not being watched for, which it's not right. No, never mind. Swisher's on the angle. Timing. Swisher looks back, looks right, and gets the kill. Only takes one shot of damage. At least the read is there for Rocket, and the time's not great for M80. They don't have utility, though, and that makes it a lot harder to stall out. Slack spots out one, sprayed down low, but Droid traded out by Swish. Rat trying to get the bomb down, line up for R2-D2, and it's the two-piece for R2 that gets the first on the board for Rocket.
Okay, 16 rounds in a row. That's going to be it here for M80, and we finally see a round coming in from Rocket, and what better way than the nice double collat coming in with the M4 spray, and man, that was becoming a nail biter, but the clutch factor finally kicks in, goes in something of Rocket's way, and now this might be able to get the juices flowing. This might be where, you know, they just need a little bit of a, you know, clutch moment or something to get them a bit more excited. So we'll see what they can do a little bit differently. A push coming in right now onto the stairs. Nades are going to be landing. That's beautifully done. Maybe able to find a second. R2 is going to be able to get himself two more. So now he's going on a bit of a spree.
Yep. This is the chance for Rock to try and build something up here. It's still early days. They can try and get the scoreline closer, and this is exactly what they need to do. Win some early fights, get some individuals to step up and find multi-kills. Getting Nero to do that is a very good start, or rather, R2-D2. Back-to-back 2Ks, back-to-back rounds. Bulbs clearing up side hall. Droid all the way down elevator. All the information there for Rocket, realistically. Shut this down. Minimal utility left, too, for M80 with these smokes and nades going through. Just two flashbangs left to hold off. It's going to have to be full firepower for M80. Bomb's going to go down, though. Molotov's a bit late. Wreck only taking 29 points of damage is not too shabby. But 5 men on the retake for Rocket. Not going to be an easy time for M80 to hold, but Malms makes it much easier with that opening kill. Slacks into a 3v3 now. Wreck still on the ramp around those smokes, but Malms goes aggressive, takes down Haven. Slacks and Malms, though, will finish off the round. And M80, just as soon as it looks like it might get a little challenging for them, turn on the gas and are cooking again.
Yeah, a little bit of a blip, I guess, here, but I mean, still lots of time left. We're only in round number 6 here for the second map, but I think for Rocket, I mean, again, for them, this is going to be a big chance for them just to be able to find rounds, figure out what they can do a little bit better. Like we said, I mean, on paper, you said this, a 9-win streak right now for M80. They've just been taking out a lot of opponents. This nade could be really devastating. Oh my goodness, thick with 3 Cs, and there we go. That's going to do some good damage, but no kills. Flanks are coming in, but might be a little bit too late here.
Two, maybe a third. No. And there's nothing else to do here. Great angle from Swish. And off the side of 51st floor, 5-1 score. Rex just spamming now, and you can't even say it's BM at this point.
Nah. No, I'm too early. I do like that, you know, again, like I think a simple point, but I like that M80 are still playing their game plan. They're not being reckless. They're not, you know, kind of like falling off their normal path. Like they really are still committing to their game plan. They're still doing what they're supposed to be doing. So there's a lot of discipline in this right now, and I think that's a really big thing to just, again, take away from a team like this. Ooh, good molly though, pushing back Nero. He was actually trying to get aggressive here on sidewalk with the op, but not going to be able to find it. So now he's already lost so much HP. And now he's going to have to push back. And we can't even put that up into aggressive work.
R2 is really turning on the Jets. He's trying to carry this team to some form of success. Goes a little too aggressive, though, on the second peak. And Mobs will combine with Swish for that kill. Droid next in line at the half wall. Not expected, though. That little double up gives another man advantage back to Rocket. Droid trying to peek around that smoke. We'll just watch as his teammates fall. Rectome's heaven, and Slacks is ready for that one. Good read there from the German Opper. Nero and Aleph left alone in the 2v3. One on each side. And Nero shows the smoke. Rek will not miss that. I don't think many of us would miss that one either. And Aleph last alone here. And a pretty unwinnable 1v3 with Slacks on the angle.
Yeah, unless Slacks is going to miss that shot. But, I mean, I think he's just been lights out. I mean, we talked about him before. He is the newest addition on this team. And nothing but impressive so far. He's sitting at 7-1. I mean, even before map number 1 as well. Like, he really was just finding a lot of duels for himself. So still putting in full effect here for the op. And just a really big nail to the coffin. Sitting at a 6-1. So M80 now. Worst case scenario, if we get there, it's a 6-6. But, I mean, again, the way that we're seeing M80 playing, it's hard to know how far they could be able to get themselves an advantage. This round is a big purchase in the sense of pistols and an MP9. Still keeping that money afloat as much as possible. I mean, the lowest being right now for Heaven with 1,000, but everybody else kind of sitting at that, you know, just at that 2K to make sure they have a full utility and guns for the next.
Yeah, they're playing for the long haul. The only problem is, well, there's two problems, Laz. One, they lost in their own map pick. And two, it's already now round 8.5. We're 2/3 of the way through the half. And they only have one. They need rounds.
No, they definitely do. And again, that's where I talked about the mental aspect of this. Like, this is just kicking them while they're down. Like, they just can't seem to get any success, right? And that's hard for any team, any level, no matter what. You're looking at that scoreboard and you're thinking, okay, how do we pick up rounds? And nothing is going their way right now.
I mean, I've been in this situation before, just doing open qualifiers and such, but I mean, we kind of expected that going.
Yeah.
It was a team of friends.
Yeah, exactly. Open qualifiers, kind of a different story. Oh, man. But not, you know, not in games like this, too. But still a little bit of action. Oh, thanks. Look at now they're hungry. This is where confidence kicks in, and they're still pushing through, persevering every obstacle in their way. And I think that might be a gone dead man. Yep, there it is. Half secured. M80 have done it.
They've done it, and it kind of was expected, though. Especially after that pistol round. That just set the stage for the rest of the map, I feel. And Rocket's never been able to recover. They got their one round, and that was it. They've never even come anywhere near getting another one on the board. Nero's glass cannon opping Aleph on another. They're going to go for a double op setup, but the double op setup is more than just a risk. It significantly hampers your retake ability. You have to win with holding if you have two ops, and R2 is going to get mollied out. Nero does take down Mobs, and Slacks responds in kind. One op for another. Somehow R2-D2 is able to fly away. Just hear the sound. I'm not going to try and imitate it for the sake of everyone's ears listening, but if you're a Star Wars fan or have even seen the movies, you know what I'm talking about.
Now I want to hear it.
I am not going to. That is one impression I will not even attempt for the sake of anyone having to listen to this. Especially with earphones in. Good lord.
Well, we've seen Droid in this position before. He's been successful for a one and done, but he's already taken damage. Hanks, I think he's got a good idea on this. Does get the kill, but he does take a pretty big damage for it, though. He's down to 30. And now it's 3-on-2. And Rack, he's not careful. He's going to get caught the worst time, but good trades coming back. And that's a huge thing to note here too. I mean, M80's trade potential, not even potential, the trade factor is a statement here, because every time they lose a teammate, they pretty much immediately find that instant kill back, which we don't see that ever from Rocket.
The Rocket players, they can get 1, maybe 2 kills, but finding multi-kills in general has been hard, and finding trades has been even more difficult for him. Rek even gets that kill from the grave. That Molotov finishes off Alf. And Slacks has already got the entry kill in this round, and Droid has a nade in hand, trying to chuck that downstairs way too late, way too aggressive. It's going to be a freebie for one of the M80 players congregating on the B stairs. Bomb's going to make its a long rotate back over to the B site, as M80 are swarming all around it. Manx sprays down Rek a little bit. They're doing team damage now, lads. That's what this game has devolved into.
Yeah, after I was already, pumping tires, telling them they're playing discipline, now they're doing TK damage. Come on, guys. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, again, they're feeling confident. They're feeling, in a good groove right now. I mean, even that execution, I mean, they only lost Mulbs, and that was the fact they're pushing against Rocket. Like, they were trying to hunt those players. And I mean, right now, I mean, you can see Nero's just kind of sitting back, probably shaking in the boots a little bit, waiting things out, looking for an exit, just trying to keep the M4. That armor is a good investment of money. But they're definitely hunting for him. He should be able to escape, if I'm not mistaken. Unless we see Manx be able to find this in time. Time's ticking. Nero gets it. So, nice little consolation prize, too.
Nothing like a little consolatory kill. M80, of course, plenty of money. They'll buy up through the end of the half. Rocket will have rifles and an XM on a pair of players. This might get interesting here. The auto shotguns can always pull out something. I'm curious to see what they're going to be playing. Are they they're gonna stack B. I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. It sounds like this got to get desperate, and well, that was about the most perfect read they could have made, aside from dropping down fighting. That might not have been the best call, but in general, that was probably the best counter they could have had for this sort of round.
Yeah. I liked the idea, the creativity to switch it up. Get the XMs out, try to, put that into a close quarter fight. Not a bad idea. This is where you have to really just kind of think outside the box. You got to try things differently. And yeah, I agree. I don't think I would have done the jump down. I think their thought was, let's be aggressive and counter it with that. I think even just holding the angles could have actually been something dangerous, or even a paw flash. But either way, they learned the hard lesson. They lost 4 of their players within a matter of, what, 12 seconds?
Around there, yeah. And they won't even let Aleph save. That's just how dominant M80 has been from start to finish in this one. Last round of the half, lads. There's no money for Rocket. They're going to scrape together what they can find. No helmets, just rifles, M4s, AUG, no utility. Heaven's going to get a smoke or a Molotov, a flash and a nade, double flashes for R2.
And I mean, this is, like, again, let's not forget that there was 16 rounds in a row, so it was a 3-1. Ooh, wow. And then they've been able to win 7 rounds in a row. So they've just been back on the winning streak. They haven't really, like, slowed down. So that shot from R2 is really sick, though. That's a good entry. Now, I mean, this could be something from Elf to maybe come from the back lines, maybe able to get this timing, but Nero takes down a bit too early. The MP9. Okay. Not bad. They're still down in the numbers, but this flank could be everything. He just runs in. He doesn't wait for his teammates. So now this has just put it into a 1v3. It's really just turned its head. A potential situation that could have been theirs, but instead it's going to be M80's 11-1, and we're going to take that break as we get ready for the second half.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Well, another bold statement made here from M80, 11-1 as we get ready for the second half of map number 2. Lazenbogs to witness maybe a potential big dominant performance from M80. I have no idea, but pistols are coming in, and they're coming in fast.
Oh, there's one headshot from Swisher. Starts it off well. Molotov's burning around, jump up. Droid charging in with a Tech 9, taking team damage, but combines for one. Malbs, R2D2 in heaven, though. Getting a couple of kills quickly, back and forth. It's a 2v2, but Wreck is low. Bomb still at the feet of the M80 players, though. Heaven blinking in, making all the noise. Drive-by on the slacks. Wreck is gone. And Rocket have won their second round of this game and of this series. They delay the inevitable for at least a little bit longer here, Laz. And they call a timeout right after?
Why not, dude? That's hype. They got their revenge on the pistol. They couldn't do it on map 1, right? It came right down to it. I think that was R2 or Droid. I can't remember.
Droid.
I think it was, yeah, Droid. And gets the 4K. They didn't have a kit, so they lost the pistol, but they technically took everybody out. But they finally get their revenge. So now they're in a situation where they're like, hey, what do we do? Do we force up? Where do we want to go? So now we do see that force up. 2 shotguns now. Okay. That's a bold move. Bold might not be the word I'm looking for, but it's a move.
It's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off for it.
I mean, surely they'll find themselves kills. I mean, this if M80 find this round, I mean, this is just digging that hole deeper and deeper right now, and then it's just too mean.
Yeah, I mean, a 5.7, a Deagle, USPs, and a P2K. It's just nothing.
They're so scared though. You can tell like they're creeping and taking this map so slow. They're waiting things out. And even M80, they're grouped up onto this B site. They're just kind of waiting things out a little bit. So it's a decent stack. Oh, and
No.
Swisher with the swing. No way.
No.
Oh my, no way. Please, not like this. Not like this. And it does happen, and they only lose 2 players, and they get 3 rifles and AKs with a Galil. And M80 have now put themselves a map and series point. Oh, Boggs.
Well, uh, this
Counter-Strike, right?
yeah, I did not expect that round to work for M80.
I didn't either.
I-
That is the kiss of death right there, man. That was just, that's everything.
What do you do after that? Like, how do you respond to that? Well, I guess you respond by losing your next player. Alif's going to burn out of that position, down to 66 HP. Swisher drops down 1 for 1, and Rek will be there for the trade. 2 players left is Droid and R2-D2, and at least 1 for R2, but there's still 3 alive for M80. Swisher and Rek have done the dirty work, and I think last round is really that one that just salts it away. How do you come back from that? That's a gut punch. And then afterwards you get dragged into a ditch and left there.
Yeah, no doubt. And there it is. That's going to be 13-2. M80 have now secured themselves the 2-0. They don't do it in 13-0 fashion, but they do it in dominant performance regardless. And we get to see 2 rounds within the span of 2 different maps that come through for Rocket.
Yeah, I mean, Rocket, they got 2 rounds. They got the pistol, and they had that 1 round at number 4 of this one on Vertigo. But overall, it was complete and utter domination from M80. However you slice it, M80 were by far the better team. They continue their undefeated run and look to waltz into playoffs with that number 1 seed. But Laz, I don't think there's really much we can say to break that one down.
I don't think so. I think the only thing really is that M80 now have secured themselves with the 13-0, so they didn't take a single loss this whole season, so they're sitting really pretty now going into playoffs. This was just kind of that confirmation for them to, you know, feel really good about themselves. And yeah, I think for Rocket, it was just a rough night for them, unfortunately, with 2 losses here today and a previous BO3 beforehand, and then coming into this. So not an easy night for any Rocket fans, but for any M80 fans, you're definitely, you know, feeling pretty good and sitting high and mighty right now.
Think they are, M80. They close it out well. They won a round with a 5-7 at Deagle and USPs. And that pretty much just sums up the match in a nutshell. But folks, that is going to wrap up our broadcast for tonight. Badass versus Take Flight is actually still going on, though, over on ESL CSB. So we still got some Counter-Strike for you, so you can hop over there and watch that fine extra, and we'll take you through that one. But on behalf of Laz and the production team here, I'm Boggs, and I hope to see you guys all for the playoffs. But that's it for now. Until next time, have a great night.
Bye-bye.
High up in the sky, look up to the stars. High up in the look up to the stars. High up in the sky. Nothing but the fading light.
Bye.